So Janet Jackson, who we rarely ever really hear from, came out. She did an interview with The Guardian, and in the interview was all about her life, her career. They asked her about, where she is, like politics. So the excerpt from the article says, this is the writer of the article. They speak to you and then they answer the question. So she's saying, I wonder where she stands. She is Janet Jackson on the forthcoming election. After all, I say, America could be on the verge of voting in its first black female president, Kamala Harris. This is what she says to Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson responds, well, what they supposedly said. She's not black. That's what I heard. That she's Indian. Then the writer puts in italics that Janet Jackson looked at her expectantly, perhaps assuming that the writer was also of Indian heritage. And the interviewer said that she then shot back at Janet, well, she's both. And then Janet said, her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. Then the writer says that she was floored at this point because it's well known that Kamala Harris's father is a Jamaican economist, a Stanford professor who split from her Indian mom when she was 5.
But there's something here. I have heard.
That you keep saying I have heard and I was told.
This is what Donald Trump said, that he saw dogs and cats being eaten by Haitians on a TV report or somewhere.
Right, or on social media somewhere.
Fact-based, it's sort of like Marvin Gaye now. I heard it through the grapevine.
Yes.
And
if you heard it, for some people, that's enough.
And then it becomes fact. So she puts this out, and, everybody is just stunned. And then there's an apology that comes out over the weekend.
Yes. And the apology was basically saying that Janet knows that this was misinformation. She apologizes. She has the utmost respect for Kamala Harris and blah, blah, blah.
Person who issued the apology on Janet's behalf, we're told no connection to Janet, that it was not Janet, and we were told there is no apology forthcoming, partly because they said she and the family are dealing with Tito's death.
Right. Easy to correct, and if you don't, it is so easy to correct, and if you don't correct it, the public can only be left to believe that you
believe it.
Julian, go.
Ooh. Well, I hate to quote Laura Ingraham, who told some brothers to shut up and dribble, but I would tell Janet Jackson, shut up and sing, girl. That you okay at that. You ain't that good at that either, but you're okay at that. You can sing, but do not get yourself involved in politics because you don't know what you are talking about. And like you said, she lived in California. She knew this sister was black. She knew she was the attorney general. I just want to know who's paying her bills because that's what it boils down to. You show yourself up to be a total jackass. What is wrong with you? And why are you doing this now? And there are going to be some young people and some stupid people who are going to emulate you, and you need to dial it back. You just need to dial it back. People have admired you for years.
And again, listen, if you don't know, just say you don't know and keep it moving, Congo. But to also make this comment, get all this blowback, and then you ain't sat here and so your manager issues an apology, then y'all walk the apology back. So y'all want the lie to still sit out there? That's dumb. And all y'all other people, I see some of y'all fools talking about FBA and all that, and talking about, oh, Janet's the icon, Roland Martin, you shilling. All y'all can kiss my entire ass.
That could mean life in prison, and cases like this can depend on the testimony of the child accuser.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Jackson gave a wave when he was released after booking. He's scheduled for arraignment in January.
Michael's been a longtime resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people. And she goes after them viciously and violently. And I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done. And I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win. But I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints. And Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids. And at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, you know, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of my